Yo, yo, what's going on? Watch list time, watch list. Let's do this. Ficky fresh. Just finished running scans. Pull up my main watches, and anyone that pops on, feel free to mention some names you're watching. We can go over those, give my opinions, anything I'm missing, etc. Otherwise, the rest of you can just watch it tomorrow. A couple trades for me today. AILE, main watch from yesterday. Was looking for that 180 break. Ideally wanted some weak open flushes, but the strong open, I waited for a pullback to set its low a day. I didn't want to chase right here. Once it pulled back, set a higher low, and then bought that lower high break. This one slammed down. I wanted to see how it reacted off of prior highs, looking left, and I sold there. So I wasn't looking to overstay like I had been doing on some recent breakouts. So moved on that one, single, and Octo is a new pump from that same group of the last few that I have been mentioning. Furani, I'll get to that one in a second. So Octo, yeah, this one's on that pump app, newsletter, whatever you want to call it, that had been running some names recently. So I'm going to keep that one on watch in the coming days. What else? Let's see what Furani's watching. Lumen, FTCI, IMRX, Place. None are really ideal or setting up, but that's all I got. Lace is definitely one of my main watches. Lumen, I did see that one hitting scan because I was watching that one for a build over the 640s. And it is coming into prior resistance, but not really in any sort of volatile fashion. So I don't really expect a similar move to this, where here it sped up, and once it rebroke of that looking left level, it had already proved itself that it could run and speed up. Since it's had that blow off, it's just kind of been like retracting in terms of daily range. So like you said, not super ideal, but I do see the merit in that daily chart pattern. FTCI, a bit on the illiquid side, did break that lower high trend I was looking for, but volume didn't really come in on that break. A bit higher than prior day, but I would have preferred to see some sort of candles like these once it broke through that 52 line. So an entry here would be a wider risk down to 48 for me. But once it broke 58s, I'd probably move stop to low a day of whatever it is. So tomorrow, if it's still holding over the 52s, I likely put on some sort of starter with risk on 48 and then look to scale and add into that winner, moving risk up, keeping dollar risk the same, but add into that winner once the daily chart starts to prove itself. But I do like that one. IMRX failed today. But it was a straight up spike from the 2s up into the mid 3s. So a healthy sort of consolidation, and now setting a lower high to the breakout level, which offers a possible early entry once it starts to build over 350s instead of having to chase that 380 break. So ideally this holds a higher low to the 220s and then a re-break of 350s and possible early entry for that big picture. Place, yeah, that one's a too high of a market cap real company. I wouldn't really touch that one. But some people are looking to short that overextension, and this was on a watch list back here from 913 if you go back and look at that one. But people are looking to short this overextension, and I was more interested in dips along trend, given that this was sparked by earnings. So this is like an episodic pivot or something of that sort, where the fundamental of the company has now changed. So this is now a fresh chart to me. So I'd assume that all dips get absorbed and this thing continues to trend higher. Stocks that double tend to double again. So I do see the merit on this, but it's a slower mover. I think you'd have to have bigger picture, wider risk, and play something like not even pull up an intraday chart, literally just trade it off the daily chart pattern would be how I would look at it. UXIN China ticker held its gains today that I'm waiting to see if it holds up or goes higher. Yep, I like that plan. No plan on it for me tomorrow, but like you said, just see what it wants to do. It does have a history of multi-day moves way back. I remember trading it back here in 2021 when it went nuts. So it does have a history of multi-day moves. Nice fresh daily chart with no real overhead resistance volume-wise. So ideally this thing goes on a multi-day run. It's gone from 150 now to 260. So if this thing can go 3, 4, something like that, I'd be interested in an overextended trade. But no real plan on that one for me either. I would agree with you there. APLD, love this setup for tomorrow. I had taken a loss on it, I noted, on one of these days where I was anticipating the break and I got stuffed on, basically buying into the highs, not letting it break and prove itself. So today, once it hit scan, I was telling myself I'm going to let this one break, pull back, consolidate, and prove its new base. And I was not going to let myself fall into FOMO, buying the break right into resistance again and buying the top. But now that it's consolidated over 650s, I'm interested all week opens for a re-breakout. Ideally like a week open red to green. If this thing can pull red, and given that it's failed at this resistance level multiple times, 3, 4, 5 times, once, twice, 3, 4 times, call it 5 if you wish. But now shorts have that 650, 660 backstop that they're using. Any sort of shove into that, they think it's going to fail. So if I can get a weak open that stabilizes and then re-breaks red to green, I like that move for higher tomorrow. AILE taking off watch now that that thing failed. GEVO, big picture daily, didn't pull back a whole lot and still holding up. FTCI, I like that one. Big picture versus 48s until 58 breaks. IMRX, let it push, pull, consolidate. Now let it choose its direction. If it's going to re-break over 35 or break below 220s, I don't know. Let it tell me. Lace, parabolic daily, looking for a first red day setup here. I do want to note a couple things here. Right here, you can see the speed up relative to prior price action. If I take away today's volume bar, right here, bigger volume than any of the other days. And then it kept going for 2 more days. And I took a loss or a small gain on it that day. I can't remember. Because it was trading in prior day's resistance. And then you get that huge red candle here. So it does have a history of good first red days. So tomorrow, if this thing's red on the day, I think it could provide a nice pullback. But I also don't want to force a bias and basically trade what I want to happen versus what is happening. Volumes just being kind of dry on breakouts I found. Yeah, I tend to agree. A lot of the breakouts I had traded in July or August, I can't remember, I'd have to look it up. But I was able to basically get an entry on that breakout and swing it for a day or two, and trend would continue to build. But what's been paying now in like something like AILE and then SMSI when I traded that one the other day, if I traded that breakout through the ones and I sold into the 140s, 150s, that's a good trade. But I chose to have early entry, wider risk, and then get stopped on something like that. So there's not a whole lot of follow through on day 2 moves, but if you're picking your spots, getting that entry and then actually locking in, they've been decent little singles, but not those home runs that they've been in months past. I would tend to agree. But back to Lace. So I do like this big picture daily, parabolic now from the 5s up to the 20s, and with exhaustive volume. So I would be looking for higher the better, and if I can, let me see here. I can show this. Yep. A bit small, but that'll do. You've got this. I like the way that they show RSI on stockcharts.com, and you can see each time it's had its red day, it's topped in this same RSI range in the mid 80s, and we're coming into that again, into this overbought zone that's worked once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, where it had red day, red day, red day, and now possible red day again tomorrow. I don't have my 4 EMA on there, but I can tell you on, I might be able to add it. 4. Didn't update. There we go. 4 EMA, the red bar right here in the 11s. I like that for a pullback range. But yeah, I just like to look at this one for the RSI indicator. And I can go back to this. That one. Nope. This one. There we go. So I do like it for a pullback. That lines up with that breakout level right in the 11s. Whether it goes there tomorrow, that seems pretty ambitious, but given its history of red moves, I'm not going to write that off when it has a history of giving back multiple days in one day. So I will have that one on watch. Are you considering the 865 as resistance in APLD? Do you just watch those days with decent volume as resistance? APLD. Let me see. 865. 865. Probably talking right around here. Yeah, I wouldn't take this into consideration. I'd take more this $10 into consideration. Support and resistance, like chart-wise. Support and resistance chart-wise is just trader psychology in a visual form. So if charts don't have volume, then there's no buyers or sellers at that level to make it important, I guess you would say. So like this would be the most important day given the 100 million shares traded, and then something like over here up in like the 10s where it was having trouble with, blew out, had trouble with again, given it's a whole dollar, half dollar, $10. So I would be more antsy on the sell side, given that there is some overhead resistance. I like it to be further than a year, because I think more people start to take tax loss selling and that sort of thing. Past a year, they forget about their bag holds. They don't really pay attention to them. But if something were to push a week ago and now you're just watching it fade away, the next time it gaps up into that resistance, you're more likely to sell because it's fresh on your mind. Get out, break even, which is like a gap up short into resistance type setup that you can take advantage of. But something like this, where it pushes, consolidates, and re-breaking out, I consider this more of a breakout setup than a overhead resistance. So short answer, yes, I watch resistance levels with volume. I don't really care about ones without any. So yeah, Octo, I'm going to monitor that one. Recent pump. Lumen, I did have on watch, but the range is just so contracted that I don't really think it's worth putting money at. APLD, I'd look for a similar range move to this one, going like 450 to 650, like some sort of $2 move. Maybe it goes 650 to 8, something like that, and look to lock in there. Lace, looking for an overextended first red day. A nice bloody day would be ideal if this thing can stay red on the day. IMRX, waiting for more information. Same with UXIN, waiting for more information. FTCI, possible dips versus 48 on a starter. I wouldn't size into this yet until 58 proves itself. Fellow Canadian, nice. Fu Rani, the Canadian, eh? I bet you're a Mountie. Hey, you got one of those cool hats. What part? East Coast, West Coast? Or somewhere in the middle where you can see from the east to the west coast? Calgary, nice. Not too far from me. Yeah, so I think that's about it. I'm gonna pull up my just wanted to review my scan that I wrote out, see if I'm missing anything. Don't think I missed anything. Did that, covered that. Are you now a full-time trader, still part-time? I still have my construction company. I don't really plan on going full-time anytime soon. I think I make about 90% of my money off the open and trading on the West Coast. That's before anybody's awake anyways. So I typically give back midday, and then I am profitable in the afternoon for my swing trade entries, but not really. It's marginal. Most of my money is made off the open. I think it's like 96% of my money is made on morning trades and swing trades. Damn, you must sleep pretty early, or no way. I still got a couple hours ahead of me. I'm gonna be up for another 2 hours or so, back up at 4 a.m. And then work a 10 or 11 hour day, then back on the computer. That's fun. What do you mean? Yeah, so I don't really have a plan on going full-time anytime soon. I think I touched on it in my interview I did with IU, where like when I talk with guys like Nate and Greg, they've been full-time for so long that they're trying to get out of it, and they want to have the money that they've made work for them and get off the desk and not be so full-time. And then the guys that are part-time and do have a job, they're trying so hard to get to full-time. And then, what do you need to be full-time for if you're just going to be sitting at the computer anyways? I think I'd much rather come in for those A+ setups. Being self-employed, I can take days off when I see those setups coming. So I don't have a boss to clock in with. So stuff like FFIE, when that thing was over here, it just kept going up and up and up. And these parabolic days, I took this day off because I felt that A+ opportunity was worth it. And then can nail trades like that to put some size behind it and make it worth it. So must be such a freeing feeling to be able to really choose what you're able to do in your day because of financial freedom. I would agree. I think that's where happiness stems from. I don't love having to break my back to bring in a paycheck, but then knowing that the trading income is always there. I roll my trading profits into long-term investments to collect dividends. My day job pays the bills that I don't need to rely on the trading income, so I can use it in passive ventures. So being able to do that at a young age and start it off early to compound, I think it is beneficial. Unfortunately, I don't really know otherwise because I'm so young. I didn't go through those. How are you, Franklin? How's it going? Like, imagine in maybe 10 years being in the same position as Nate. Must be nice at that age. Yeah, for sure. Because he's like 38, I think. And he's got his life set, right? He financially, he's got his kids, spend time with them whenever he wants, wife, few houses. Like, just money's not an issue. Now his issue is getting off desk. He has a hard time separating himself from the screens now. I actually feel like your 30s are better than your 20s in a way. Well, I'll let you know when I get there. Give my feedback. I got no idea, but I'll take your word for it. But yeah, that's the goal. Take some money out of the markets, put it into longer term stuff, create some passive income, whether that's in the financial markets, in real estate, whatever your venture is, create some passive income. I like the day job route as well. Takes stress off the making money day to day. Doesn't put any pressure on. And multiple streams of income. You have investments, day trading, day job, all that kind of stuff. So what's your biggest loss and how did you overcome it? My biggest loss. What was it? Let me think. I can pull up my spreadsheet. Maybe I can sort it by... My biggest loss recently was GE. Damn, that thing's higher. Freaking thing. I bought it on this day. High volume breakout. And then I got stopped. I sized in with risk on low a day. And then it broke it briefly. And then recovered. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to get shaken out. And then I had some slippage. I had scaled in. All that kind of fun stuff. And I didn't respect my stop. I kept adding, thinking I was smarter than the markets. And I took a decent loss there. My mentality of recovering from losses has just been... took a little bit from Eric, from Elkwood, and a little bit from Nate, where Nate says the market that takes also gives. So if you were on the other side of that trade, you could have made just as much. And then Eric always says, like, having that next mentality. So if you're in a slump, in a drawdown, take a big loss, the market that takes it also gives, the quicker you can reset. I think the better off you will be. So let me see here. If I sort it, my biggest loss. Yeah, that is my biggest loss. GE. Typically I focus on small caps. This one was out of my norm. I just noticed the same daily chart pattern that I like to trade. I think this was up on earnings or something that day, so I thought it was a fundamental catalyst. It was breaking daily chart resistance. All the things lined up. Sometimes they just don't work, but I didn't respect my stop. I added to a loser and then didn't respect my stop again. Didn't even get out when I was up or flat again, and got smoked on a gap down. So yeah, I try to just reset and focus on the next trade. Just try and kind of eliminate that one. You know, it happened. I know the mistakes I made, and just try not to do those again. When did you start trading? I bought my first stock when I was 12, back in 2011, 2012, something like that. And it was a friend's dad's company. And when I was 16, 17, I started reading on trading books, because that's when the pot stocks were going nuts, stuff like Tilray and whatnot. And I thought maybe I could make some money, so I bought Sykes's book. And he talked about how he invested in a friend's dad's company with printed home ticketing. So when I was 18, turning 19, that would have been around 2019. That was when I paid him a abundant amount of money to join his challenge. And yeah, so I started trading in 2019, and then met some good traders in there like Roland, Huddy, Lento, Good, all those guys, and took their connections. And I'm not in the I think I'm still in the challenge. Like, I think it's like a lifetime thing, but I don't go in there. But yeah, 2019 I started, and now I'm over at IU. I remember GE being so cheap in 2020. What was it at? Damn, $40. Jeez. And look at me trying to buy it at 170. What a genius. You want to talk about my biggest losses? That's rude. Why not talk about my biggest gains or something? You on Kinfo or nah? No, I'm not on Kinfo. My first, I think, 2 years or so, I was posting on. It was at $5. Oh my god, that's insane. I was on Profitly, I think, for the first like 2 years when I was trading like 20 shares, 50 shares, when I was still learning. And over like the first 14 months, I think I lost like $700 over that time. And then March of 2020, I made that all back. And I think I posted P&L for a little bit after that, but I didn't really see a point in posting P&L when I can just review charts, review trade setups. The size I'm trading has nothing to do with anyone who's trying to take what I have to offer, or anything for that matter. There's a few people I share P&L and size with when we're trading the same thing, a few closer friends. But I don't really have an interest in sharing P&L and stuff like Kinfo. Yeah, not really interested in it. It's such like with the leaderboards and everything, it just bothers me. Like, I see trading as so much more of a you versus you game than a me versus anybody else. And I think when I was on Profitly posting my trades, it was messing with my head. One, because I'm trying to impress people, like posting better trades. And then like if I had a red trade, then I start sizing down because I don't want to give back that P&L and have it, or if I took my loss on GE, I'm like, oh, that's going to screw up my profit curve and all this. If I just keep it to myself, I find myself a lot less emotional, and just trade the charts at hand. Biggest loss is more memorable, I think, but if you can share your biggest win, that would be nice too. And what setup was the trade? Yeah, Kinfo, I hate Kinfo. I hate the whole leaderboards and stuff. Just, I track all my stuff. Like, I've got all the same stats that Kinfo would give me, and I just keep it in my Excel. So when I can look up biggest loss and what date, what trade, what setup I was trading, all that kind of stuff. Biggest win, that's more like it. GSBD was one of them. This is my second biggest win. It was back here. It was this is a Goldman Sachs derivative. I bought this pullback into prior chart support on this big volume profile, and this thing trades, this thing offers like huge dividends. So if it kept going down, I was willing to add and just collect the 45-cent dividend. And if it went up, I was looking to sell, and it went up over the span of a couple weeks. And I bought it in the 14s and sold it in the high 15s. Made a nice $1.50 a share on pretty decent size. EJH was my biggest trade. This was a China pump right here. I believe it was this day. Could have been this day too. I think it was this day though, because it was back 2021? I think, because it was after AERC. Yeah, AERC was 2021. So EJH was my biggest trade by about 5x of my second biggest, and they were putting out WhatsApp and Telegram messages, and this was back when you could flip the Chinamans and tell them basically that you're short. You'd send them fake buy screenshots because they collect commissions on those screenshots. And my homegirl Anna, she told me to buy and buy and buy. And usually once they were telling their chat rooms to buy, they would basically dump 80%. And I rode this thing from, I don't remember what the pre-split prices were, but it was like $40-50 down to like $2. And I caught the meat of the move on that, on some decent share size for myself. I think this almost doubled my account on that one trade. I was all in and made like 80% in that trade. They don't work quite as good, but EJH came back again. Like I traded it again this day. Same setup, just ticker memory. You can see it does it over and over again. Again. So eventually they'll just pump this thing and do the same thing, rinse and repeat. Those are my top two off the top of my head. JAGX was one of my more recent really good trades right here, where you get this big push, cup and handle. I bought it right around this day, sold it here, rebought here, added, sold into here, played it on like 3 waves, made a nice trade on that. But yeah, I haven't really had any like big outlier ones recently. I guess that's not true, because there was like 2 weeks ago I had a string of some nice like 5-6R winners, like one after another. My biggest loss recently was Gevo. Gevo was my biggest loss recently. It was a parabolic daily looking for that overextended first red day, and I hammered, like I scaled and scaled and scaled on that day, on the 17th. I wasn't letting that thing up for air. We got that pre-market blow off, so I was looking at all pops as a scale opportunity. We got this rounding top, failed fall through momentum, VWAP fail, and all right here I was scaling, and it just ground me out. Did you celebrate after a big win and get wasted? I do not drink. Fun fact about D22. I don't drink. Never even had a taste. No drugs, no alcohol. This body's like a temple. But no, I did not celebrate. Same kind of thing that keeps me on those big red days. That those big green days don't mean anything either. Just focus on the next. Back to the process that got you there. What was I wanted to find that streak of trades. It was Lumen first red day back in August, a month ago. Had a really good stretch. Lumen, Lace, EJH, UPC. Second week of August. Lumen. Right here. Overextended. First red day. EJH. Pump and dump. UPC. Pump and dump. And Lace also. I think it was this day. Yeah. Those were like a string of some really good trades. They just came one after another, like day after day, day after day after day. They it was just one after another where my setups were just there. But yeah, I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. Any other things you want to touch on? Coming on to 9 o'clock my time. It's almost midnight for my East Coasters. So I will probably wrap it up there. Recap my watch list. FTCI, LASE, and APLD be my top 3 in tomorrow. APLD, FTCI, big picture for breakouts, and LASE, multi-day, first red day. Do you have shares available short for Lace in your broker? Yeah, I use Centerpoint. I'll wake up 4 a.m. and see what the prices are at. And I'll probably locate them early, whether I use them or not. But they've got shares of these things every day. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 routes that I can borrow through. So getting shares at Centerpoint's not usually an issue. Thank you for sharing your time and watch list. Of course. Never an issue. I used to enjoy watching these from other traders that I resonated with, so I figured me doing them it's fun for me. I like talking shop, so I have Trade Zero, and they don't. Might have to make the switch soon. Yeah, Trade Zero's trash. I contacted them during COVID when stuff was going nuts. I was using Interactive Brokers. And they were first come, first serve. So if you weren't shorting early and getting squeezed ahead of time, you weren't getting shares. So I contacted Trade Zero, and the answers they were giving me, I just told them I wasn't interested in opening an account anymore. They suck. Their borrow costs are way too high. Their account minimums are way too low, that they have such a low barrier to entry for so many people. Centerpoint, I think, is a 30K minimum, I believe. So a lot of people can't save up that amount to open up the account in the first place. Their fee structure is really good. It's per share, but it's fairly low. I don't know what I pay, but it's cheap. They have some ECN routes that are like rebates, so you get free commissions trading through them, like sub 1 names and that sort of thing. So I think we will cap it off there. Get in where you fit in, make some memories. I'll see you guys in the room. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the interaction today. I think it was a good chat. And see what time I'm back tomorrow. Might do it again. Hello from China, Dawson. Nice. Send me the hot pics. Alrighty. Catch you guys. See ya. You're welcome.